Let us talk then about inheritance and cascading the wealth through generations, and take a different example, this time Twickenham, which is a seat where Vince Cable for the Liberal Democrats is fighting you very, very hard. An average house there costs £545,000. And if we take a couple, the chap's got an early onset dementia, he's been cared for in his home. And they've got a little bit of money in the bank, but not much. Under your proposals, they could lose virtually everything. Their children and their grandchildren who are hoping to inherit some of that wealth won't be able to.
Well, when you say virtually everything...
Well, it was going to be 500, it's now 100.
£100,000 is
among five children.
Is a reasonable inheritance to have, and people who are lucky enough to have had great rises in property value will still, I think, decide that £100,000 is a better way of doing it. But this has got to be put in the context of funding the social care system.
Of course, I understand there is a problem, but I'm just asking you about your answers to it.
Well, our answers to that problem mean that more money goes into the social care system. Everyone knows that there will be a decent inheritance for them. Nobody will have to lose their home during their lifetime or the lifetime of their surviving spouse. This is a much fairer system, and it's a much more sustainable system.
Used to believe in inheritance. This is a vast, secret inheritance tax.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. You're a member of the Bow Group. You're a member of the Bow Group. Yes, you've written stuff for the Bow Group for many years.
A long time ago. I haven't written the Bow Group a long time.
You're a kind of Bow Group guy.
No, I'm not. You don't know the Bow Group now. The Bow Group has gone off on a journey.
The Bow Group says this is the biggest stealth tax in history.
And the Bow Group is wrong. We are saying that everyone can inherit £100,000, regardless of the costs that the state and therefore the taxpayer has paid to them. One of the big issues that's facing this country is intergenerational fairness. So this system is fair to older people. Let me finish this one. You've also got to be fair to people working now and paying taxes. That is the only other way to pay for the care system. So this system we are proposing is fair both to pensioners, and particularly that minority of pensioners that may need long-term care, but also to working taxpayers. And that's the question you want to ask John McDonnell.
Okay.
How can he justify...
I'll ask you the questions I want to ask him. Life is unfair generally. It's very unfair that some people get dementia and some people don't. Under the original Dillnot system, we pooled the risk in society after a certain threshold and spread out the unfairness. If you are very unlucky and you get a terrible disease that means that you're being looked after at home, maybe a stroke where you don't return to work or whatever it might be, you're being looked after at home, then the rest of society will come in and help. You don't have to pay again. Under the new proposals, you are basically on your own for most of it. Here is what Sir Andrew Dillnot himself has said. People will be left helpless, knowing that if they are unlucky enough to suffer the need for care, they will be entirely on their own until they're down to the last £100,000 of all their wealth, including their house. And he was right last time and he's right now.
No, there are two problems with what Andrew Dillnot proposed, and it was a serious set of proposals. One is that the social insurance he proposed as a way of doing it, there are no products there for it. That market doesn't exist. And the other, of course, is that his problem of, as it were, setting a cap rather than a floor meant that the distribution of the benefits became wildly uneven. We are a party that Theresa May wants a country that works for everyone. So it's got to work for people, not just in Ashford, though clearly I care about them, and Twickenham, but also in Hartlepool and in North Wales and in Scotland and so on. And so allowing everyone to know that there is this flat figure of £100,000 is fair to everyone.
Very briefly, in Ashford and Twickenham and Scotland, lots of other places, people hate this policy and it makes them very, very nervous indeed. Is there any chance at all you're going to look at it again?
No. What we said in the manifesto, incidentally, to put that no in context, is that we have set out this policy, which we're not going to look at again. There will be a green paper covering both social care and health coming out in the summer, because we all know that the long-term solution to the social care crisis is better integration of the NHS and social care. That's the aim of our policy. This is the first step along that road.